Hello, my loves. Today we are at UC San Diego. I said in my last video that I would talk about relationships. We're at the Sixth College area. Oh my gosh, there's somebody else. I didn't know there were other people. It was very, very sparse on campus. It's definitely over like past final season. I wanted to show y'all the fog that we're getting in California. It's usually you can see the ocean from here. And there's like a basketball court down there, I think. Oh, look, crow. There's like more birds than people. There's some people over there. And then, well, I chose to sit in the shade because it is really bright up here. I used to come up here to study, actually. And I think I taught lessons, as in like teaching, TA assisting during my office hours because, you know, you need to get outside sometimes. Oh, and then they're doing I don't know what they're doing. They destroyed the field. I used to play lacrosse on the fields and they've completely destroyed it. They must be redoing it. And immediately the thing I thought they should probably use some of the money they're using on all the construction and all of this ridiculous stuff on making the food in the dining halls edible. Yeah, that's what I think. Whatever. Who am I? Oh, alumni. Yeah. So I feel like I don't know. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I studied here. Thank God, because wow, what a time. It was definitely. Let me put my feet up because I know it's gonna be a while. It was a very harsh time in my life. I did not peak in high school or middle school or uni. I don't even think I peaked while I was taking my gap year. I'm I'm on the up and up. So it just keeps getting better and better, and I believe that. And I was really, really crusty my freshman year. I've always been very cute, but my freshman year was such a time. My mom moved with me from LA to San Diego. So she wasn't that far, but when you live on campus, you're on campus. And on campus is a different city, it's a different life. And La Jolla itself is La Jolla. It's not necessarily San Diego. They almost made it UC La Jolla. So, a little context. I think everybody suffers from a spell of evil and depression. um, I lived in the Eleanor Roosevelt College dorms my freshman year. I lived in Asia Hall. I lived with two girls who were rushing to be sorority sisters. And I don't think we had beef individually. I'm not like the type to beef on site. I think maybe you know me. It takes a while for me to beef. And this is what happened. It took a while for us to all beef. The fog is like rolling in, y'all. You can't even see the buildings. The fog's been, if you see my TikTok story, the fog last night was also the fog. We're in a cloud. I've been meaning to write a cute little, maybe not cute, maybe it'll be serious, a story about like Cloud Nation, Cloud State. I'm trademarking that. That's patented. And it's like the different clouds, and if they were different, I guess, tribes of clouds, but they had to interact with each other, but they had their own stuff going on, like cumulonimbus, cumulonimbus, cirrus, storms, um, sunny day, all those types. And imagine if it was like up in the air and things were going on up there. That's my idea. Okay, so we're in the cloud, not the Apple cloud. And yeah, the suite, okay, the dorm itself, it's 13 girls to a freshman year dorm. That was already too much. And I was just so unhinged. First of all, I think being growing up as a single child really, it left its mark on me. I don't think people can tell. People always ask me, "Do you have do you have siblings?" And I always say, "No. Could you tell?" And they always say, "No." So I don't think it's rubbed off on me in the wrong way, but definitely in the way that I am not a conformist, especially during that time. And I was coming out of a really gross time in high school. Like my friend and I didn't wear shoes in class. Like I wore like the same leggings, and I kind of continued that in my freshman year. It's like the same pair of leggings. Like it was really gross. Like I remember feeling gross and like being locked out of my dorm all the time because wouldn't remember my card or whatever. And um yeah, just so much. And we had a huge, or I had a huge, you know, gang, I guess, with the bottom below us boys suite. And I dated one of the guys there, and we were friends, and then we were dating, and then we broke up 3 times. So that was that. And he looked at my LinkedIn profile recently, which was hilarious to me because, like, okay, um, and that I'll just tell the story now because it's kind of my story, and um, it it carried on. So like, I was I'm always a part of the girls and the gays. We know this, right? And so like I this was our friend group. And so I was dating this guy, and we broke up and got back together, and broke up and got together, and broke up and got back together. And then eventually one moment in the summer that we weren't dating, but we were seeing each other all the time. We went to the national parks camping together. I said, "No, enough. We can't do this anymore. We can't be around each other anymore. Enough. Stop it." Erica Kirk, stop it. Stop it right now. We are Charlie Kirk. Um, so that happened. And then literally like 2 months later, um, literally Selena Gomez, in 2 months you replaced us. He started dating this girl that I had met. I remember because I met her because she was in the Girls and the Gays. She was bi at the time, and she was friends with my friend who was like the twink on campus. And then which we are not friends anymore. He said, he was like, be friends. And I met her, and I was like, okay, she's kind of boring. And I also had another friend, another twink on campus, registered twink on campus. My friend was like, "She's really boring." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I thought." And so anyways, we, I'm out of that friend group. I joined lacrosse, which is a whole nother stage. But the girl and the boy date throughout the undergraduate phase of university. And then I think when it's graduation time, so we graduate undergrad, they break up, or she comes out as fully lesbian. And so they break up, and then I heard they go to Iceland together, and he leaves her in Reykjavik for like 10 days. Horrific. And they had a dog, and they like lived with the friends, and they were all roommates, and I knew these people. And I don't know who it was, but somebody came up to me and was like, "Oh my gosh," like, and they were friends. I was like, I really know those people, and I don't think like I feel like a lot of people in that group could handle it maturely. I think there's bigger fish to fry. Anyways, so yeah, fast forward to when we're in graduate school at GPS. Oh my gosh, the fog is like rolling in, y'all. This is not what I expected, but it's La Jolla. The weather's so different here. Let me zip up my quarter zip. The we are at we're taking classes together. We know of each other, and we know the lore. We know that we've dated, everyone knows this. Everyone knows that we've dated the same guy. He's been around, like, because we did the BAMIA program, so we were on our final year of bachelor's while and so they were all hanging out. So that guy that we both dated was hanging out with all of the graduate students. And so personally wanted I never wanted anything to do with her. Like first of all, I thought she was really boring at first. I didn't care. And I also like okay, we dated the same guy, like we don't need to like get into it, you know? Like that's fine. But then she was definitely trying to close the gap. You know, she like gave me compliments, you know, and was trying to be smiles around me and I like wasn't I'm not a very smiley. I can be. It's definitely a side of me, but certain times of my life when it's serious and I have to lock in or else I'm going to die. Like I am not so smiley. These days, for example, I feel like I've been not as smiley as I could be. One day, so hopefully next year, I'll be a little more smiley. So it was what's it? What is it? What was it called? It was Banquet. I think that's what it was called. And we were having like dinner slash drink slash dance slash pictures and stuff at a nice place in downtown La Jolla, like at Shores, around there. It was at the beach. I remember that. I was already really. I was high when I got in because I was high my entire. I've been high most of my college career, but I was high my entire fifth year, my super senior year, and because who cares? Who cares anymore? I wasn't high while teaching class though. I think that's a win for me. um, anyways, so I what came with my friend Chow Chow, and I was already really irritated because we had to do all these final year things, but they had like triple stacked all of our finals. It was just so annoying. Anyways, and then as a TA, you have to grade finals too, so that's like another additional thing, and you have to get ready for graduation. Like it was just so much. I was like scraping by. I was barely scraping by, and the I remember we were all drinking, people were dancing. Personally, I didn't get involved in the drama, and that's like another level to the story, the graduate level drama. Oh my god, I think this is gonna be a long video. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I feel like it's fun to get it out. Um, so yeah, she and I, like my friend Chow and I, Chow Chow, shout out. We were, you know, bumbling around. We were doing whatever. We were like, okay, we're gonna show up, we're gonna drink, we're gonna eat, and we're gonna say hi to people we care about, and then we're gonna take pictures and leave. And that's what we did. Oh my god, she's so funny. She didn't even want to drive my other friend home, which was hilarious. And we went to the, I guess the state city seating area, and so I'm watching Chow interact with the girl that was, you know, that had dated my ex. We were both not dating him anymore. And then this little boy, I mean, I know he's my friend's friend, but just because you're my friend's friend doesn't mean you're my friend. It doesn't mean that I like you. And this little boy says, "You two dated the same guy." And then he got up and left. I just felt like that was so ridiculous. Like, why would you start something and then leave? I just thought that was super annoying. And then I was like, okay, so we got to sit in this and we got to talk about it. And then we talked about it, and we were both like, well, he fucking sucks. So I was like, he fucking sucks. And we went out and took hot pictures and whatever, which is fine. So that's that. That was the big thing. I honestly, most of my grad year drama was at the very, very beginning, because of the pandemic and because it was the beginning of grad school. I guess I could like start from there. There was a, you know, we were BA MIAs. We were kind of a group. You kind of group up, especially when you know UC San Diego, you've been here before, you're all BAMIAs, you're all kind of, you know, really young people who've never worked before. You know La Jolla, you live off campus, you're not living in grad housing. This isn't your first rodeo. There was a group that formed, and you know, we got really close in the pandemic times, And I was thinking about this while I was walking up here. They did not make it light for us. They did not, the graduate program did not give any grace. And that's something that I also didn't have when I was at UCSD. And maybe that's not a UCSD thing. Maybe it's not a college thing. There was no grace here. I was not graceful, and that's something that I definitely am aspiring to be. The program wasn't, there was no grace given to us. They weren't trying to make it easier. They were just like, okay, we're just going to move it online. It's like, okay, but also people are dying, and also we are suffering from many, many things. There was such a collective trauma from that. And so it was very difficult. It was very difficult to learn how to code and do Excel and, work with this type of material online all the time. And so you form really close bonds, and then those bonds get too intense and then they fall apart. And I forget exactly why we fell apart. I think it was just like, okay, no more of this. And I think that's what happens a lot for me in my relationships. It gets to a point where it's like, okay, no more. I don't know if it was me or them, um, but it was very much like, okay, enough. We've had enough of each other. Let's go our separate ways. We don't need to be friends anymore. Yeah, I think he told me. I think he was like, being, I don't feel like safe around. I feel like a lot of people use that. They like say, being, I don't feel safe around you. I'm like, that's really not my problem. Like, I'm not gonna kill, like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna destroy you. But yeah, I was feeling insane. And so, we all have to, detach and unenmesh and deal with our own stuff so that we don't drive each other insane because of our own insanity. Which is something, again, that's not easy when you're in university, because you're living all the time and you're in class and you're studying together, you're eating together, you're hanging out together, you're partying together, you're, living life, you're relaxing. It's all like that. And then I think later on, I didn't say anything about what happened between me and the main guy, but later on he was increasingly evil, and I just remember being like, yeah, well, this happened between us, and so, like, I didn't need anybody else to know. Like, I wasn't gonna be like, "Meh, meh, 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 meh." But yeah, that's what happened. I wasn't gonna make it affect other people's friendships, which I've been told that sometimes I can be like that, where it's like, okay, I'm not friends with this person, and people feel pressured that so that they can't be friends with those people anymore. I don't know why you would want to be friends with people I cannot be friends with, because I probably have a really good reason that I can't be friends with those types of people. But yeah, it just came out later, and then my other friend had to drop him too because he's just very self-serving and not supportive, and he chose a side. And I think, as in a opposition to the other guy that chose a side or doesn't choose sides, I feel like you got to choose the right side of history. So yeah, I think that was mainly grad drama. Oh my gosh, yeah. And I don't think anybody, this is so many years ago. What was this? I graduated 2022, and it's 2020. It's almost 2026. So it's like many, many years ago. There were so many, I think I've talked about this before. There were so many people who had crushes on me, including my students, both undergrad and at the grad level, which I think I'm kind of blessed. Like, it's sometimes it does get a little creepy, but at the same time, I think I'm given a lot of grace because people have, um a positive feeling about me. Like, I remember when I took off my mask to take a sip of water, there was a sigh of relief because, I wasn't mask fishing. I was, pretty up and down and whatever. And I'm funny, and like, people like me. I'm serious when I need to be serious, and I'm not that serious when it's not that serious. Like, I just know how to go with the flow. I know how to roll with the punches. And I think that's rare these days. So one of the TAs, like, had a huge crush on me, and I remember I don't know if I told many people, but I told one of my friends, and he was like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, isn't it obvious?" And he was like, "No, he's like got no emotions." And I was like, "Wow, I feel like it's so obvious that he has this like massive crush on me." So that was something I had to navigate. I think it's interesting when you have to navigate um, crushes in a workplace. Maybe that's another good video to make. I'll think about that. Crushes in the workplace. I think that's a good one. I'm gonna write that down. Um, so yeah, back to freshman year because that was, I mean, grad school was just like, okay, let's get through this. Like let's just do what we need to do. Let's just, get the credits, get a C, get a B, get out. Um, so yeah, freshman year, we're all in the dorms and we had dorm wars. Like we literally had dorm wars every quarter. I remember once it was so, I mean, we were hanging out all the time. You're living in the dorms, you're eating with these people, you're studying with these people. It gets this, the relationships are very heightened, I think. So I think to start light, the boys, they always are like, we don't have any drama, but there was literally, I was there when the list was made, and so this was like the spot, like everybody from all over campus would come out to hang out at the boys' dorm, and one of the guys had a big TV and they would play games and they would watch movies and all that stuff, and people would make out with each other on the couch. It was crazy, and it would be like strangers, as people like we don't know are suddenly like making out on the couch, and people are like trying to take a shower or trying to study or game or whatever. And I remember that there was literally, it got to the point where there was too many people coming in and out of the dorm without anybody knowing, because you just put a little block and hold and leave the door open because everybody is too young and we all forget our key cards. And um and also people were using stuff like there was I think there was an Xbox or a PlayStation out, and there it got to a point where we had a ranked guest tier list where these are people who are like, we love them, so it was like me and this other girl that was already there that we had a falling out to. I think it was mainly on me. um, so that's my bad, that's my fault. At the same time, I think sometimes maybe I can't like conceptualize or verbalize my feelings or misgivings about people, and I just let the relationship like kind of singe and sizzle. Um, which I probably am getting better at vocalizing my emotions instead of just like blowing up and, leaving them in forever. I'd like to think that. I think I'm getting better incrementally, incrementally. I haven't had any relationships recently. I haven't had many relationships recently, but I haven't had many relationships recently that are like that, where okay, we might need to not ever be friends again. Um, who knows? Yeah. So, um, we had to literally tell people to not come to the dorm unannounced or without, some supervision. And of course, I was like not just friends of the dorm, I was like a girlfriend of the dorm. So I like lived there and I paid my dues. Like I would bring candy or I would like, help the boys. I was a part of the dorm. Um, girls, girl, and a boys, boy, lads, lad. Anyways, um, so the upstairs area, so my suite, which I rarely lived in, admittedly, because I was always downstairs hanging out with the boys because they were more fun and they had more stuff to do. And then I was also dating one of the guys, and friends with all of the guys, like close friends, like besties. And it moved around, it shifted around. So, let me fix my shoe. The girls upstairs, I remember one time on someone's Finsta, she said, "Oh, I posted a note in the shower because people were literally drawing art in the shared stalls with their hair and leaving it." And I wrote a note, and it's jokingly, but it's also a serious issue. I said, if you leave your hair in on the shower walls, I'm gonna shank you. It's a joke, okay? It's a joke. Like, take it easy. Um, and then this girl posted on her Finsta, which the other dorm members told me about, and I freaked out about it because I had issues. And I'm getting better at controlling my anger. Not maybe not controlling, but like really, releasing it. I don't get so angry anymore. I think the only person I can get angry with is my mom. Um, and sometimes people deserve it. So the girl wrote like shut up bitch hoe, you barely even live here or something like that. And I like freaked out and my I was writing out her Finsta caption. I was gonna tape it on the bathroom mirrors, but people stopped me. But they thought it was really good. I think my friend posted it on her Instagram, my art in progress. But it never made it to there. Oh, and then I think another issue was, we were talking and we were all getting back from whatever break or something, like literally just returning. And I think like we got back and one of the girls wanted to dye my hair. So that was already an ordeal. And of course, I agreed. And I was like, yeah, sure, dye my hair. And so we did it and we were doing it in the dorms. And then I think so we were all talking and stuff. And then we got a group chat text. It says, can you be quiet? And I think maybe they told an RA or something, and we were freaking out. We were like, "Are you kidding me right now? Like you are always drunk and yelling and screaming." So that one got the RAs involved because I think they didn't feel safe anymore living in that area. They were always trying to like get out, and you know, I definitely did not help the situation. I was definitely angry and depressed and anxious that freshman year. I tried for lacrosse and I couldn't like commit to anything. I was just like on the couch watching Digimon. I didn't care. And I'm not like saying I didn't even have a hard major. Like I think my hardest class was like calc. Which I literally like I barely cared for. I don't know. It was just very difficult. It was a very difficult being I get caught up in people sometimes, and I think that's what happened. Oh well. I think I was still very loved, and I look back on it fondly with a grain of salt. Um, yeah, I'm not really friends with any of those girls anymore or those guys. It was just too much. There was, and I feel like I don't, of course, wish ill will because that's just giving my power away. That's just a more waste. But I did have a second year falling out that was pretty harsh, and they I think it was over a Panera Bread issue. I shook her chair and then she freaked out and she was like, "We can't be friends anymore." She like, "No, no, 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 no." And then she went to the RAs and she was like, "You need like we can't live together anymore." And I have my mom, which is helpful. And I said, "Well, we were friends during the summer. Like she knew who I was all last year. If this was a huge issue, like it would have come up earlier." Um, and she's like back then she was pre-law, so I we destroyed her, honestly. I ended up getting a single on the fourth floor of Asante and International House, which was so lovely. And the other girl that I kind of was friends with and we left behind, yeah, like we are still kind of close. She invited me to her, what is it called? I have no idea, when the sororities go out dancing. Um, I wanted to be in a sorority. I never rushed. It was really expensive, and I don't need to pay for friends. At the same time, a lot of girls really liked me and wanted me to rush, and I always thought about it. I never did it, and I'm glad that I got a good experience. I didn't have to pay any money. I didn't have to conform, but I still got to go out and have friends and, get drunk and go to parties and meet boys and do what I needed to do and get the experience from the older girls and have those connections. And I think I did it really right. And iHouse was amazing. I had no issue. I feel like it was friends it was like bestie after bestie after bestie in iHouse. And I think it honestly was a huge glow up for me. And then I finally did get to play lacrosse. And I had friends in lacrosse. And let's see, I think the falling outs came during the pandemic. So I was in lacrosse my second year, and then my third year I was abroad, which I've already made videos on that, so I'm skipping that part. But the falling out came back when I came back from abroad, and then it was the pandemic, and I tried to maybe recultivate these friendships, and they just were we were different people at different stages, and worked really hard. I really wanted to be friends with my old friends again, and I think we just weren't the same people, which is fine. I think they entered a really toxic like area of UCSD, like socially. And I had a huge experience abroad. Like I lived my life, and there were really high highs and really low lows, but I grew tremendously. And I came back and it was really toxic. I remember once I was at a party. It was like a birthday party, and I remember one of their friends, so not the main friend group, but one of their friends, Crow. Crow. They're vocalizing. One of their friends literally, I had gone in because I always get cold first, and I went into the couch and I got all cozy, and um, one of their friends said, "So are we super toxic or what?" And I was like, I just laughed because yes, yeah, yes, kind of. Not to me, but I definitely know what goes on in your group, and I can pick up on things that you guys kind of pressure each other into doing things to the max, which is not necessarily the best way to do things. So that was a harsh falling out. I think I was getting to the point where I didn't feel like I could hold back myself. If this something came like up, I was going to freak out. And so that's when I know that I can't be friends with y'all anymore. I think there was another girl, she was a friend of a friend of a friend, and we got close, but then I think she just couldn't learn and grow, and I think that's always the end of it, especially when it's the lack of learning and growing is at your surrounding circles, I guess, detriment. Yeah, I actually went through that pretty quickly. Relationships, I could talk about like the loves. I think the issue with me with the relationships that I had previously, especially in my uni days, was that I get attached, but I don't, but it's not for real. The crows are around, and it's super cold. The cloud is we're super cold. And maybe I can walk around. It could be fun. You can see that we're in the cloud. Yeah, so oh my god. You can literally see the ocean from here. Oh my god, and the crows. The crows are trying to caw. Um, yeah, you can't even see. Wow. It's like a silent hill. This is very ominous, spooky dooky. Spooky dooky. There's the sun. Oh, you can see the sun. This is cute. Take a little pic. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Um. Yeah. I I get all wrapped up in people, and I also have a tendency to not care. At the same time, I get very possessive. So I don't like this guy. I know I'm not going to like be super committed. I know we're not in it for the long haul, and yet I don't want him being with other people. And I'm not someone who gets with other people. I'm pretty monogamous in general. So that's kind of how it's been going, you know. And I'm very big, and I understand that people don't always like this, but I think physical attraction is really important. I was talking about this on my TikTok live, which I think I'm gonna go live tonight. Oh my gosh, greasy and shiny. It's just very interesting. Um, yeah, I, I, I have to be attracted to someone to care. That's I see you and I need to feel something. It's very rare that I feel anything for anybody, and I need to be attracted to you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you need to be a big strong man, and you need to be sexy, and you need to have a nice face, and you need to have, you need to be able to dress and take care of yourself. Like, I need that. Need that. I used to study here. This is like the actual main area. Oh, big, excuse me. I'm not editing that. I'm not editing anymore. I don't care. It's so much, and I'm just gonna talk. Wait, hold on. So yeah, that's kind of how my relationships go. I'm attracted to you. You're attracted to me. We get silly. We hang out. Oh my god, something. We hang out, and then and then you upset me. Then you upset me, and then I can't even take you seriously anymore. And then it's over. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes. And I don't know. I'm working on being more vulnerable. That's part of this. That's why I do these, because I have an issue with that, or I'm working on the issue with that. This is my solution. I I think it's just that for me, love is like a game, or like being with boys is like a game. Like, boys are like a game to me. Hi, Crow. Hi, Crow. Cute Crow. Show you. Hi, Crow. Don't want to drop. Hi, Crow. Can you see Crow? Yes, you can. Croco. Yeah. Especially because of dating apps and like Hinge, Tinder, Bumble. It's all swiping, and it's all like who can be hot, who can be less interested, even though you both think each other like are hot and interesting. So, right. It's freezing. I'm probably gonna go home in a bit. I'm reading Anna Karenina. I'm on like page 560. So I have what, 200? No, yes, 200-ish. No, 300-ish pages to go. So I'm really excited. It's been really good so far. Yeah, it's all about relationships and high society and all that stuff, which I guess is that what I do too? I don't know. I feel like I feel like I do get treated well. At the same time, I still feel like I deserve a little better. Like, I I feel like there's a lot of back and forth. I feel like there's a lot of unease. And maybe that's from baseline, each of us being uneasy on our own. And I definitely am trying to get to a more stable place emotionally on and spiritually on my own. Like, that's why my freshman year thing fell apart and got back together so many times. And it's just I was so unstable. And my friend had the same thing. Like, we were so depressed and crazy that it was difficult. We can acknowledge that it was difficult to be friends or date us. Unless you were also unhinged and crazy, and then I was literally throwing up drunk in the back of a, a car on the way to Taco Bell, like, you know, and like wandering around campus. I had a friend that literally like drank Goose in a lecture hall during a lecture that was not his class at all. So that's how that was. Yeah, you see socially dead or something. You seem so depressed. Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, sorry. I'm sure someone said that before. Yeah. So I don't know what's gonna happen to me in my love life because I think something's on its way to me, and I think it'll be very beautiful. I I want it to be right, of course. Last time it didn't work out because the guy was, I think he was pushing, and in England how they say, "Oh, he's punching, lad's punching, he's punching." He was definitely, punching up. And I think he knew that. I think it made him insecure, and I think he was already insecure. And then I think it didn't feel good. Like I didn't feel good. It didn't feel secure. If two people are insecure on their own and then they come together, they're not going to be secure no matter how much they get along or how much they like each other. Um, and I think the other thing that's really difficult for me is I'm a really like lovable person. And so I have to like dissect and, get through the weeds of it all, which is difficult. Yeah, I haven't smoked in so long. I feel like I would love to. I don't know. I feel like it's like, financial insecurity is kind of a pressure. I love that. And I also think, this is just a time. Like, I'm definitely growing and glowing, and this is where I'm meant to be, and I'm respecting and honoring the process. I just gotta let go of all the worry and stress from it because it does nothing for me. In terms of finding or, receiving love, I definitely think I'm ready. I hope something good comes my way. I hope I meet a nice man who can take care of me and who makes me laugh and who's very generous and who's also relaxed and calm, but also very adventurous and fun. I feel like, I really want to. I feel like I'm ready to like meet my match. I know it's not going to happen on, what is it, the dating apps. I've been, it's actually dangerous for women, I think, to date, period. But on the dating apps, I think it's very dangerous because you really don't know these people. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think I want to be more open to it. I want to be I am more open to it. I'm more capable of like receiving love and not being weirded out by it, because I do get very uncomfortable, and that's obviously a me thing. That's obviously, I had a very insecure relationship with my mom because she has her stuff that, she dumps on me, and then I like have to deal with the dance. So, you know I don't know if things are safe or not, like, and I have to be like, okay, it's okay, like we need to be okay. And then hopefully I'll meet a man, a guy, a handsome boy who is safe and makes me feel safe, and we can be safe and happy and live life and full of joy together. Um I've been on the Tom Welling side of TikTok, and I think, well, first of all, I think there's been a Tom Welling resurgence. I think there's a renaissance, one, and then two, I think he kind of reminds me of that guy that saved my life, that I was crushing on, but nothing happened, which is really sad. But it's okay. I mean, not everything works out the way you think it's gonna work out, and it's for the best. Sometimes a crush is just to help you get through the times. I don't know if y'all ever had that. I had that in my last year at grad school. I had a crush on this classmate who was, I'm pretty sure, with another girl, and I I was like obsessed with him. Like I thought he was hot shit. He was beautiful, and I showed him I showed his Instagram to my friend and she was like, he looks crazy. He's hot and sexy, but he looks unhinged. And I don't know, I kind of like that because I'm unhinged. Oh well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the coming year. I think, people are really, really busy these days, especially when you're an adult and you're working and you're paying bills. Like, it's not just like dilly-dallying all the time. Like, you got stuff to do, you have goals, you have dreams, you're working towards, and you have to be consistent at it. And that's the name of the game. So I think, friendships are very slow these days, and that's okay. I think, oh my God, is it raining? I don't know, something's going on. We're like really in the cloud now. I think I'm gonna have to get back inside soon because I'm not dressed for the rain. I have like a ripped jean look today. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you're with someone, if you're looking for love, what's going on with you, because love to know, love to share. I don't know. I'm not a dating girl. I've never really been a dating girl. I'm not a marriage person. So I feel like it's just got to be like, okay, someone right, and good good timing and good place. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Okay. Well, I love you and thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on TikTok, Substack, YouTube, and yeah, I'm also on Instagram too. Yeah, thank you for following and supporting my journey. I think I'm gonna go live on TikTok today. I don't think I'm gonna post this today though. I just posted. I had to like try again. Sometimes when you upload a video on YouTube, it takes a long time, and if you don't stay in the app, it doesn't work out. So, oh well. Okay, thank you so much. Love you. Have a good day. Bye bye.